And we're kicking it off.
Right on.
It is. It is. Please. And it is Friday, the 3rd of January, 2024. No, 2025 AD. Let me move this thing over here so I can reach. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report show with the co-host, Bigg Bump. Bigg Bump, what are we going to be touching on today?
Good morning first. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, James.
Happy New Year.
Nick, right on. A clip that I sent you about Ayn Rand speaking about universities. The other thing was...
Gracias.
Give me 1 second. I have to... I know, but I don't remember. Is the... jobs, federal regulator jobs, the number of, for every one regulator federally, it's equivalent to 138 private sector jobs. Also, I wanted just to take my take on the Vivek Ramaswamy's comment or tweet or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
The one that I covered
yesterday. Yeah.
Anchor Baby covered it too. Nice.
Okay.
So we'll get your take.
Yeah. Just something quick. It's nothing big. Just something that crossed my mind while you were talking about it specifically.
Right on.
Okay. I get it. No comment right now, but yeah.
And all that and your calls and your super chats, some of them already have come in, guys. I did see them. I appreciate them, and I will try to read them. It is Friday, you know. Even though some of them do not pertain to Bigg Bump, we'll read them regardless. I think. Out of respect to you guys. Because I don't like to carry over the weekend, you know. But anyway, guys, let's just, hopefully, get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys! I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song of the Hake Report, made in Christmas Eve 2017, right after I started my show, my little podcast. Nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I have my obvious Globe t-shirt on. And Bigg Bump has his Dodgers hat on, as usual. Very nice. Ball-tard or flat earther?
Ball-tard.
Nice. Based.
Changed my mind.
You can call in and change, or try to, present an argument for the Ball-tardia, if you want. I mean, for flat earth. Nice. Puberty ditched Hake. Probably because my high-pitched intro. Okay, let's get going. Let's get going on these topics. You brought up Ayn. How do you pronounce her name?
I wanted. Well, clearly that's not her real name. I think that's a pen name.
Oh, really?
Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
I always want to say Ayn Rand.
Me too. I even say it from time to time. And I think I said it earlier, but it's Ayn Rand. And that, if I'm not mistaken, that's a pen name.
Okay.
Her real name is, hold on. It's like Elisa Senoyevina Rosenbaum.
Whoa.
That's where she was born, yeah.
Ayn Rand, Russian-American
Yeah.
author and philosopher. She was pretty when she was younger, kind of facing straight on. Anyway, but anyway,
Straight on. When you squint in the dark.
shout out to the homely gals. She died in 82. Wow, she died after I was born. She was born in 1905, and Alice O'Connor. And then she married a Rosenbaum. Is that what you're saying?
No, she married an O'Connor.
Oh, okay.
Her given name. Birth
okay.
name
So
was
she married an
Rosenbaum.
Irishman.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, I would think so.
Died at the tender age of 77. I didn't know that. Okay, so my dad liked that book, Atlas Shrugged. She wrote that book, Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah.
Talked about objectivism, and I think she said greed was good. But anyway, she's popular among like the sort of boomer conservatives.
Yeah, I would say close, almost some on the cusp of libertarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I got to know her a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead. What you were about to say?
Let's show this gal's post. This is from Instagram. Okay, guys. Now, let me make sure that it doesn't. Let me hope that it doesn't really blast you. Turn this down to touch. The and Bigg Bump says the eggheads were and always have been for the destruction of America. And this heading for this thing, if I can find my cursor, says the most dangerous institutions are universities because they teach ideas, is caught my eye, that destroy America. And isn't it true that ideas and teaching, rather than realizing and seeing and knowing, they're just caught up with ideas, and ideas is very destructive. You get an idea.
Right.
I remember I told you guys about the idea of being cool and holding yourself back in school to be cool. Dumb idea. It was an idea.
Yeah.
And you have the idea, I want to be with this gal.
Right.
I want to marry this person. Those are ideas, and sometimes those are, you mess up your life.
That's for sure.
With ideas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And these people have dumb ideas. So here's Ayn Rand. Any relation to Rand Paul?
Ayn Rand philosopher.
No.
Okay.
View the United States of America today. People waiting in gasoline lines.
Oh, let me
People
turn this up
fearing
and
a possible
refresh.
Recession. People wondering whether we will survive as a nation because of military.
Let me refresh. Come on. I always have to unmute it now.
People waiting in gasoline lines. People fearing a possible recession. People wondering whether we will survive as a nation because of military posturing by other countries around the world. Tell me how you feel about it.
That's a pretty big statement right there. But first of all, to sum it up, I feel that this country is being destroyed by its philosophy, specifically by its universities. The most dangerous thing in this country today are the universities, because they're teaching the kind of ideas that would necessarily have to lead to the destruction of this country.
You may not realize it, but you are currently funding some dangerous people. They are indoctrinating young
Were you
minds
including this
throughout the
part?
West
No,
with
not
the
really.
resentment
Yeah.
of
Okay.
idiots.
Shout out to Jordan Peterson, but no.
Lord have mercy. You like blasted our ears too. Lord have mercy. Okay. Yeah, so nice. Thank you. A shout out to PragerU for this thing.
Right.
So she was saying that the universities and the ideas. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So
Reiterate what she said.
that now I forgot. You have to go back.
Let's play it again.
Yeah, play it one more time.
Okay, so you're gonna hear Jordan Peterson, but bear with us.
When he came in, that threw me off.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Here. Okay. Oh, it's playing again.
The United States of America today. People waiting in gasoline lines.
Hold on.
Ayn Rand philosopher. View the United States of America today. People waiting in gasoline lines. People fearing a possible recession. People wondering whether we will survive as a nation because of military posturing by other countries around the world. Tell me how you feel about it.
That's a pretty big statement right there. But first of all, to sum it up, I feel that this country is being destroyed by its philosophy, specifically by its universities. The most dangerous thing in this country today are the universities, because they're teaching the kind of ideas that would necessarily have to lead to the destruction of this country.
You may not realize.
Wow, what a mess.
So
it's true.
The first
it
thing
sounds true.
The first thing is he asked her a specific question first, but she wanted to make a point. Like, she's like, yeah, okay, that's big, but let me tell you something. I forgot about that. That was one of the things that caught my attention.
Yeah.
Is that how she answered his question, because that wasn't the question he asked at all. That she made a point to point out how the universities and institutions are a destruction to America.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, the ideas and these philosophies that they're bringing along is, you know, like the Marxists, all that they didn't want, you know, the United States anyway, you know, basically once it came about. So those institutions have just ramped up in ideology and the hate and the pushing the America, basically the America first, you know, as the key. You know, I guess you can go off and, you know, it's a university, so now you get people coming in thinking different ideas, coming up with different philosophies and things like that. But they're putting these instructors and professors in that are anti-America.
Yeah.
And they don't care, and they're going to push that type of ideology as well. I think I said it before when I went to a local college. I went that local university. That I went to a Chicano studies class. I took a Chicano study class, and that professor, that guy was, man, radical. After I realized what class I was in years later, I'm like, this dude is like something.
And you were fresh out of high school. You didn't really realize that he was a radical at that time?
Like 2 years out of high school.
Okay.
So basically fresh. I still was young, 17 when I graduated. So
yeah,
was probably just turned 19, right before I turned 19. Yeah, and at first I thought it was cool, but now I'm seeing that, man, it really, and he's local, of course, like he was Chicano, all that. He might have been a gangbanger when he was younger.
Yeah.
He was maybe in his late 30s or early 40s, and I haven't looked him up, but I think he is like one of those top La Raza type people. I think I've seen his name before, but I can't recall if it's him or not. I know his face when I see him, but I can't recall. But those type of things that they push and teach, it, and realizing it was the communist and Marxist type stuff. It was there, yeah. So, yeah, and like the 60s, they saw it back then. In the 50s, they saw it, and they knew what was going to happen. Individuals knew, from Goldwater to McCarthy, Ayn Rand, the John Birch Society people, they knew about it, and they saw it, and it just ramped up from there. It's been just like an avalanche over it, you know, keep going on, and it's to the point where it's almost out of control, that there's no way to stop it. And I just seen recently, is just something popped up that did Trump push, like he said something about getting rid of if you're teaching something in the universities, you won't get the funding or something. I thought I read that in one of the Truth Social notifications or something like that. But
recently?
Yeah, I think it was within the past day. Some notification popped up.
Nice.
I don't remember, but yeah.
I wonder if we could pull that up. I know that when I was in school, I went to Pasadena City College, and had some radicals there.
Yeah.
My English teacher, radical.
Yeah.
Hateful.
Yeah.
Angry. He was fun to listen to.
Right.
I enjoyed it. Other people hated him. But I was he would crack me up because he was so grouchy and angry.
Yeah.
He was like, I remember one time there's this restaurant called Hooters.
Right.
And he said, there's going to be an old lady who goes there and sues them for discrimination. And that wasn't the only thing. I mean, that was like a mild thing. But, that exposed his kind of liberal side. He had like a long ponytail, gray hair. I could dox him because his name is so memorable.
Is it?
Yeah. But I tried to invite him on the JLP show years later.
Oh, really?
14 years later or so. But he declined to come on because he was so mad that Jesse, on his Wikipedia at that time, Jesse had praised, I guess, how Karl Rove swift-boated, or something like that.
Right.
John Kerry.
Right.
And so he was still mad about that. And I don't even really know the background of that because I wasn't paying attention to politics back then, really. Although I had voted for W. But hey, at least it wasn't Gore.
True.
I guess. I don't know. But I remember one time he was like, Jesus. Making fun of like the Southern. That was like one of the early times of me noticing in person somebody mocking the Southern Christian accent. Jesus. And he was just so vicious. And I remember writing an essay. He liked my writing, although he cut out a lot of extra words. That's where I learned to be more concise.
Yeah. Right.
Because you can just cut. A lot of words are not necessary at all. But actually, I'm not concise with my words. But when I write, I kind of know. I used something about I wrote some article, or not article, but an essay or something about a clock. And I wrote some line about capitalist, pig, something. And he's like, nice. And it wasn't even something that I believed in. It was just something that kind of fit with the theme.
Right.
And whatever. And to me, it seemed kind of cliche.
Right.
And this is actually, I consider him a really good English teacher. But he's like, nice. But he got mad at me. I called him a coward because he wouldn't come on the JLP show.
Yeah, good.
In email, and he's like, oh, good day, sir. Don't write me again.
Really?
And I'm going to report to the media how your tactics for inviting people on the show. I was new. I didn't know better. I didn't know better than to be like snide.
Right.
I was a little bit snide with him. But yeah, radicals. There was another person.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
Did he teach anything else?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that sounds familiar, the ponytail guy at PCC.
Okay.
It sounds familiar, but I would have been past that when I went to PCC, those English classes at the moment. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And
Sorry.
he was kind of sloppy. He had sort of bad posture, sort of. And he just walked around all with a purpose.
It sounds so familiar. That guy does.
I'll tell you his name off air.
Okay, right on.
I don't want to dox him,
That's
really.
cool.
He's kind of old now, probably.
Cool.
This was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's Pasadena City College.
Right.
That's just community college.
Right.
Just supposed to be a useful college for getting your degree or associates on the cheap.
Right.
But the Frankfurt School, they were all about this. Wasn't that the Frankfurt School is like a philosophy school or something? Like it was a Jewish German liberal communist way of infiltrating the institutions.
Right.
That was what they wanted to do.
Kind of familiar with it. I'm not going to say totally, but I know what you're talking about. Right.
I meant to go onto Truth Social and try to find Trump, but Frankfurt School. I learned about this from the Jew blamers. The Frankfurt School. And actually, I don't know if I've ever really looked it up, but I just know that they wanted to infiltrate the institutions. And that's, of course, what they wanted to do. To a school of thought in sociology and critical philosophy associated with the Institute for Social Research, Goethe University in Frankfurt, Germany. 1923.
Okay.
Weimar,
something older.
Formed during the Weimar Republic, but to kind of overthrow it and turn it into socialism, communism. Right, I think?
That's what I would take it as, right?
Interesting. So anyway, I think that they wanted to infiltrate our institutions, and that's what they did. Look at these guys. I remember I said German Jewish because I specifically remember that one of these guys from maybe Daily Wire or something like that.
Okay.
Said it was German, and all the Jew blamers were like, oh yeah, German. Terrible.
Yeah. No, but
intellectuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I say the eggheads, the intellectuals, the experts, they definitely are against anything. It seems like anything that related to freedom and liberty, and not true. Like, you can say not a true liberal because it's free. Just the freedom itself. They want to push with their propaganda agenda, whatever, wholeheartedly. And not, and no matter what, they want to be sneaky about it. They can be, but they are sneaky about it. They've been doing it, and it's to the point again where it's in your face, and they're not going to let go so easy.
Who's this?
The institutions, the eggheads, the experts, those type of individuals.
You made me think of Joe from Phoenix. I think that he's like one of the sort of useful idiots for that, because he's fallen for that whole thing. Exactly. Boomers big time fell for for example, the race thing. Mm-hmm. I know boomers, white normal boomers, not just blacks, because like I mentioned Joe from Phoenix because he's like an intellectual, like an egghead.
Yeah, exactly.
And he falls for that racism thing, hate thing, anti-discrimination mess.
The speech.
Free speech, violating free speech. And there's like all kinds of excuses for doing evil.
Right.
Because they disguise, that's what evil does, is pretend to be good.
Right. That's the point I was trying to make of, they come in with these, they could sound nicey nice and play along, and then there's always something behind it. There's no way around it. They push one agenda, and then, but in the back end, it's something totally snaky that they want to actually implement or get rid of. Always.
Yep. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see if I could find anything from Trump recently. He posts he truths so much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's always something popping up.
Trump was right about everything.
About everything.
I disavow for the sake of the channel. Interesting, man.
Yeah. I wish I could find it too. I wish I would have screenshotted it at least. But
or retruthed it.
Retruthed it, maybe. Yeah, that would have probably been better. Yeah.
This is what he said about after the terror attacks, if you want to call them that. One of them was a terror attack confirmed. The other is not confirmed.
Right.
That's crazy, man. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just the destruction. I see the destruction. I see that everything they do is totally opposite of the law of the land.
Right.
They want to destroy it. If they could, they would just get rid of the Constitution. I believe. I know for a fact they would just get rid of it.
I agree. I remember Obama was mad about the Constitution existing.
Mm-hmm.
People say that Trump was mad about it existing because, well, he said that we have to suspend it because the corruption is so bad.
Right.
But that's not, Trump doesn't want to suspend it in a communist way. He wants to suspend it because it's being abused.
Right.
But these people abuse it and ignore it.
Yeah.
Because we have free speech, but we also have something called obscenity laws that I think are not being enforced.
I'm not even familiar with obscenity laws like that.
Okay, so obscenity laws are, they basically, it's kind of like banning pornography or something like that.
Okay, right. That's what, okay.
So a lot of that is not enforced, I think.
Okay.
We have laws that are not enforced, such as the pot banning laws by the federal government.
Right.
Whether or not you agree whether the federal government had a right to do it in the first place,
right,
it's the law.
Right.
But it's being completely ignored. And you have the free speech to say the N-word, but effectively you don't have the free speech to say the N-word.
Right.
Because you can get killed and the person gets probation. You can get arrested and called disturbing the peace or using fighting words. They have all these ways of circumventing what the law actually is.
Right.
And they do these kangaroo courts with these whites and cops who've done stuff that's maybe questionable, but maybe even justified. People go to court who shouldn't even be in court. And the academics are all on board with all that stuff.
Yes.
The educated people think that they know so much, but they don't.
That's definitely a whole. That's another topic. That like when Jesse used to always say, the experts. They have no idea what they're talking about. They know what they want to implement, but they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it
very deceptive too.
Very, very, very much so. Very much so. you can see it when they begin to bring things up. You know where it's going almost. You can tell. It's like they wolves in sheep's clothing, but they have blood somewhere on their wool somewhere or on their mouth or something like that. You know something is up. You just know it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You can see through them sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but that, and then, you can have just the younger adults, the 18, fresh out of high school, going to these universities, and they're not necessarily either side on any political issue, and go in and get radicalized.
Yeah.
And because it sounds good to them, or they were, they just, their young mind wasn't structured enough to see through it themselves, because they influenced by whoever, growing up, or as soon as they get there, they leave everything they known and just follow the crowd or something like that. And you can see when these past elections, past 2-3 elections, that the universities they're heavily liberal, communistic, Marxist by their crowds when they have these different. If it's not a Trump crowd, which is crazy in size, it's that communist Marxist size, and it seems like to be majority of the campus.
That's interesting. You're talking about the protest type
all
crowds?
All that protests, yeah. From
protests,
Berkeley to whoever.
Anytime it's a big crowd, it's pretty much wrong.
Right.
You know it's wrong.
Yeah, right. And then stay away from it too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Because it could be trouble.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's partly why I didn't trust the students in the Hong Kong protests. Because they called them democracy protests.
Right.
But they're young people, and there's big crowds. I'm like, I'm not falling for that. Basically, commies mad at commies. Young dumb commies versus the older, wiser commies. Shout out to the Hake is a good Ty-com. Let's get to a call or two. I don't want to get too carried away. Him Diddy is on the line over here. Him Diddy, thank you for calling and holding, man. You're live with Bigg Bump and Hake. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing well, man.
Nice. So I thought I'd put my 2 cents in on the flat Earth argument.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. 400 years ago, when the globe was first introduced into the classroom, before that, astronomy was 25% of our education, and then was completely removed. At the same time that we were supposedly learning so much more about the universe, around the same time they changed the scale that pianos were tuned in from 432 to 440. We were burning books and witches at the stake as well. So that's the beginning of flat Earth, or round Earth, I should say. And then there's a number of experiments that have been done since then to try and prove the Earth's movement, which have all failed, starting with Airy's failure. You could check that one out. He used a telescope filled with water and tried to use the refraction to show whether or not that the stars were relatively static, and that the Earth is passing through their light, or vice versa, and it showed that the stars are what's moving and not the Earth. We have a device known as an astrolabe. I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 years old. It's like the first mechanical computer, and it was has many uses, but it was first used to survey Baghdad before it was built. Anyways, the device has on it the night sky, all like the stars, the important stars of the night sky, and the center of this pinwheel is Polaris. And so we have a screenshot from 4,000 years ago that shows that Polaris was the center of the stars and hasn't changed in 4,000 years. We're told that, the Earth's wobble is on a 24th or 26,500 year cycle, and that we're going to wobble away from Polaris and it won't be the center. But if that were so, then, we'd be 4,000 years away from Polaris being the center, which it has remained forever. So we have proof that the night sky is static. We have Einstein, who tried to measure Earth's velocity around the sun or through space by using the speed of light as the control, and then shooting lasers in the direction that the Earth is supposedly moving in, away from the direction that it's moving away from, and then towards the sun and away from the sun, to show that the Earth's movement plus the speed of light, or the Earth's movement minus the speed of light, was readable, which it was not.
Are you following this, Bigg Bump?
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm having a hard time following this. You're rattling off a bunch of facts.
Okay.
Derek wants me to let you cook. Derek, the producer, the JLP Flat Earth producer.
I hear you, but
let me stop. Let me jump in about the night sky being static. You're saying it's static. Okay. What do you mean by the night sky is static?
I mean that not only is Polaris, the North Star, been the center of the stars forever, like it's not moving, it's not changing.
That's the North Star, yeah, that we see on the northern hemisphere, but not the southern hemisphere.
Yes, and that it remains the center of the pinwheel of spinning stars.
Why don't we
forever?
Why don't we see it in the southern hemisphere?
Because it's over too far away from our grasp of, basically, if you're standing on the ground, anything taller than you is eventually going to limit your visibility beyond it at an upward angle, right? So if you're looking out into the ocean, in the middle of the ocean, there could be a wave 10 feet tall, and from your eye height, angled up to the top of that wave and continue that line, will block continents behind it.
Oh, so the mountains are blocking it?
Well, anything
or
higher than your
or the ball Earth is blocking it.
anything higher than your own eyes will block the sky at a far enough distance.
Block part of the sky, the part of the sky that's below that.
Yeah, which is most of it, if the Earth is as big as we say it is.
Interesting, I guess.
So another thing,
but it isn't static because it's spinning. Why is the sky spinning?
it's spinning statically. The only thing that isn't static with it are the planets, and planets come from the word, like the breakdown of plane X, meaning that they're just not on the plane of stars. They move freely. That's what a planet means.
But why is it spinning?
Why is it spinning? That's a question you're going to have to ask God.
Because, well, I mean, you don't have to ask God. He showed you by, if you look up, it's because we're spinning. But
Airy's failure experiment, which you can look up yourself, shows that it's the stars that are spinning, not the Earth.
Oh no, I don't believe that. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, people have interesting concepts about the world. We like to think that God can build it in a day, but that, I don't know. There is no science that shows that the Earth is moving.
But just looking at it, looking at the Earth, it looks like it's moving.
Yeah, but your eyes can lie to you, and optical illusions are possible. But when you actually get down to the nitty-gritty and test it, nothing shows that the Earth is circling the sun.
Do you have any
Again, like I asked, I think it was Alex last time I was on, in the flat Earth theory, what causes, and I don't know, I don't have an answer either way, what causes seasons? Do you have an answer or anything for that?
Well, the things in the sky are like, I have no reason to believe that they're physical objects.
No, what causes seasons, though?
Oh, what causes seasons? Well,
yes.
on the circular kind of snow globe model, it's the distance of the sun to you. That when in summertime the sun is circling closer to the North Pole, and in wintertime farther away. So the longer the sun spends over you, the longer it has to heat up the area that you're in.
Okay.
Are there any flat earthers who predict Halley's Comet and different things, different sky events, meteor showers and things like that?
I'm not like flat earther is a cop out statement to discredit people who are seeing obvious holes in a story.
But are there any flat earthers, if you will, if you'll bear with my use of that term, who
sure, yeah, no, I can
who can like predict the astronomical events?
Well,
the way that the astronomers are doing it.
Yeah, like before 400 years ago, that's what everybody was doing. Everybody believed the Earth was flat, and they were predicting all the things that happened.
No, I'm saying about
most
about
of
anybody
is in congruence with what you asked.
Not really, because to this day there's a bunch of baltard astronomers. I'm pretty sure they're baltards, who are predicting these different, Halley's Comet.
Yeah,
Comet. When was Halley's Comet discovered?
Look it up. I don't know.
But anyway, like, are there anybody who
was it more than 400 years ago?
I don't know.
Look it up.
No, I'm asking you because you know all these facts. So, do you know of any?
Yeah, I did a lot of study on this. But if Halley's Comet was discovered before 400 years ago, then it was through flat Earth science that discovered it.
I don't know if that's true. I don't think that people were only thinking that the Earth was flat up until 400 years ago.
That's when it started being taught to us in schools. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't around 400 years ago, so it wasn't taught to me 400 years ago.
Yeah.
Who discovered it? Some guy Halley, right?
Halley.
Cornet Halley. I'm trying to find when it was discovered. 1705. Okay. English astronomer Edmund Halley found these reappearances to be the same comet. Recorded by astronomers around the world since at least 240 BC. Wow, before Christ.
Okay.
And then he realized that it was this, and he realized that it was the same comet. So he was able to predict it. Are there any flat earthers who were able to predict these things? Present day. Let's say present day.
Well, present day, the status quo is a globe. So the proof of burden is on the globe people to show that it's a definite globe.
No, I'm not talking about
that.
Not
an obvious one.
No, it's obvious. But are there any flat earthers who are predicting these events? I don't think Apparently, you don't know, or you don't think that there are. I don't think that there are.
Well, I mean, everybody was a flat earther until the globe was introduced, and most of this stuff comes from old.
But you're not
old
answering
world
my question.
Knowledge. There are, like, there is a status quo. So if you don't go along with it, you don't get funding, right? So to say flat Earth scientists is like an oxymoron.
People who observe, you don't have to get that much funding to become even an amateur philosopher. I mean, astronomer. I don't know how much Haley was funded.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying okay. You're saying no, and it's because they're discriminated against.
Well, the Supreme Court made a decision to remove all that kind of stuff from YouTube back in 2016.
Shame on them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
there's
evil.
evidence of that.
I didn't hear that. I did not know that. I don't know if anything that this person is saying is true, guys. We don't even know his first name. I forget his first name. I think he told me his first name once. But it's okay. Jason, nice. Jason! Thank you for your call, man. So that's you gave us a lot of flat Earth facts.
I can come up with facts, but the globe people is who the facts
can you
depend
describe
on, and they can't provide any.
Can you explain the sunset that I showed on my YouTube? You were there when I showed my sunset ball Earth proof. The ball sun dipping below the ball Earth horizon.
So,
explain.
If the sun is not a physical object and it's a source projection from an unknown source, and we're inside a dome, there are ways that you can shine light onto the surface of a curved piece of glass or whatever that will make it disappear, that you can't see the glare anymore. There are reasons why something would seemingly disappear.
You have to show me a YouTube video of that happening. I'm not picturing it.
Well, you know how like a prism or whatever will bend light?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the source of light that is what we're perceiving to be the sun in the sky is not like a direct thing, and it's a refraction through some kind of object, then there can be angles that these things are set up at that would allow for the light not to reach certain points of.
But when you saw the ball sun become a semicircle,
sun.
Yeah,
we don't know about a ball.
The moon is an obvious ball. Okay, but the circular sun, I'll go with you on that.
We've only ever seen one side of the moon. The moon is a better evidence that it might just be a circle and not round.
No, the way that it's lit and shadowed, it's just obvious circle. But I mean, obvious ball. But anyway, the sun. It became a semicircle, and then it became a portion of a circle, and then it disappeared. You're saying that's just by prisms? Projections, prisms type things?
That the image of the sun would drop away from our view? Yeah.
Right, and it would become a semicircle, from a full circle to a semicircle, and then even dip below into the water. Because I saw the sun sets on the west coast. The sun sets over the water for us.
Yeah, right. So like, think about a mountain in China, or like Tibet. We have Mount Everest. So the angle, if we're on a flat plane, the angle from your eyes at sea level to the top of Mount Everest, that line will continue.
Right. So the sun is dipping past the horizon, the curve of the Earth.
No. You're looking upwards at the top of a mountain. Although it may seem at such a distance that you're looking completely straight, the mountain is higher than your eyes. So therefore, the mountain will block an angle of the sky as well beyond it.
Right, and the sun dips behind that.
And the sun just passes over that line, and then you can't see it anymore because something between you and the sun is blocking it.
But the sun stays the same huge size. It doesn't get smaller and smaller the way that it would if it were getting further and further away. Sorry, Bigg Bump.
Sorry.
That's a neat observation, but like a repeatable
because it's an obvious
experiment.
Globe. Anyway, a repeatable what?
A repeatable experiment that shows some kind of movement. Because, like the truth about what flat earthers know to be true is that the Earth is not moving. That's the basic premise, is that we're the center of the universe. Curved, whatever. We don't know the actual shape of it, but nobody has measured movement.
Wow. And how do you know that it's not moving?
Because there's no way to measure it.
But then you don't know that it's not moving. You just assume that it's not moving.
Well, we have attempted and failed and shown the opposite.
Who's we?
The people who care about science.
But if you care about the truth, then you don't assume something. If you don't know, then you just don't know. But you said that the flat earthers know that it's stationary.
Yeah.
But you haven't even shown that it's stationary, or you just assume that it's stationary.
I could give you 4 experiments. Just check out Airy's failure.
Okay. All right.
It's AIRY''S.
Yeah. Reese's vid says that's easily debunked by looking at it for 5 minutes.
Then we have Einstein, and then we have Michelson-Morley, and then we have the Large Hadron Collider.
Nice. Well, thank you, Diddy.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any science that shows that that NASA's believable?
I just have the observation. I don't even care about NASA. I mean, I believe NASA on certain things, but I know that they're a government agency, but that lies. But I'm not relying on NASA. Just look at the world; it's so obvious. But
I'd love to believe that it's around, because then I'd get to retain all this cool stuff that I learned about the space and stuff as a kid. But
something fell from space into Kenya, I heard.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So look that up and explain it to me next call.
All right. Love it. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Man, oh man.
That's a crazy topic for me. That's why I don't have anything to say, really. The season thing is throwing me off, where why is the temperature changing and all this stuff? That something's not explained with that to me.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I don't care.
Yeah.
Either.
I know. I kind of caught that. I mean, I was going along with him.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. It's an interesting topic, but it wouldn't change. I really don't know if it would change my life if I knew if Earth was flat or if it is round.
Yeah. They are passionate about it, some of them.
Yeah.
I drew this drawing, and I showed it to you guys a long time ago. This is a drawing of the obvious globe Earth. Here's I'm showing this Post-it note at an angle. And so this is the Earth, and then this is like the radius of this is the center of the Earth. This is the radius of the Earth. And then this is a person on the Earth, and this is how much of the Earth the person sees. Mm-hmm. He can only see this much. And so he's basically seeing a flattish disk, because there's not much curve on that. And that's actually an exaggerated amount of what he sees. And then here's what an airplane sees: a bigger radius, because an airplane looking down can't see past the horizon, right? Looking down can't see past the horizon. And then this is the International Space Station, just barely a couple hundred miles. And this is exaggerated how high the International Space Station is. Just a couple hundred miles above the Earth, and it can see to that. So it's not even seeing the whole world. So it's not even going to see much, if any, curve. And so I have my ball, Earth, given to me by Sho Sugino, a flat Earth fan, and mocking me. Oh, actually, this was not given to me. This was given to Sean. And Sean, the flat Earth former producer, smashed this thing and flattened it. But anyway, like, the point is, you see, that's how much vision you have, and you don't really see much. You really see less than, you probably see that much from the International Space Station. Because you just see that's probably 300 miles, that little dot on the whole world, right? Because it's a big old world.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not to scale. And the thing that I was trying to argue with him at DITTY about, let's see, where did I have my, I don't know if I have the, I know I have it somewhere. Let me get the clip. Let me go out to the clips. Clips. We'll get to this. We'll get to your topics, Bigg Bump.
That's all good.
And the calls. But I just want to show you guys the sunset. Let me turn this down. I'm mocking you guys. Oh, man. The sun is going down. God is your father.
No! The devil is.
I'm mocking Star Wars. But you see the sun is going down, and he wants to explain it through this elaborate prisons thing that I don't even think he understands.
Yeah.
My caller, shout out him, DITTY. And Jason.
Lord.
And the obvious answer is it's dropping below where the Earth drops off. The curve is beyond the horizon. The horizon is the curve. You're not going to see a curve. You're not going to see left to right a curve. But you'll.
That's where, like, that's like you say, the obviousness of it. It's like Occam razor. Like, that's the simplest answer.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, the simplest answer is usually closest to the truth.
Right. So that.
Jesse's explanations of reality and his solutions are sometimes disappointingly simple.
Right.
So you're like, that's it?
Yeah.
But it's true.
Right.
And it's the plain truth.
Right.
So anyway.
The plain truth.
Yeah.
Right.
The baller truth. Anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But,
people believe all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah.
And we individuals believe things that hold us back in life. Mm-hmm. Ideas, you know?
Yeah. Right. Good
fears. Fear is a lie.
Yes.
Anger is a lie. And that's something that everybody suffers from. So there's no looking down on the flat earthers.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you are, you're part of the lie. That's why the conservatives lose, because the conservatives are judging the commies.
Yeah. Right.
And the commies know that, kind of. They exploit the emotions and anger and division.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
That's true. That's true.
Let's get
one more thing.
Yeah.
I don't see why they can why they call her him DITTY.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Okay, yeah. That projection of not knowing if it's a projection or what the sun is, you know, that to me it seemed like you would have a factual, you know, topic or a factual statement or whatever science behind what the sun is first before you go into this other, you know, it's doing this because of a prism type thing. But again, I don't know. And my question is everywhere because I don't know. I still don't know. Why would you say it's a projection from something else, but then you don't know if that's true or not?
Yeah.
So, you know, little things like that. I get all that. Not that I've dug deep into it, but I've seen the videos and things like that. But I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. I would like to see an illustration and a demonstration of such a prism thing going down, looking like a little sun dipping below a horizon.
Yeah.
On a small scale, if you can do it.
Yeah. It's all. Yeah. Yeah. Show me.
Because there's flat earthers who think the sun is inside of the firmament.
The firmament, right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where maybe I've not even heard an explanation of it, but I don't know why they, you know, where they come up with these ideas. But I get where they get the ideas from. They're in their minds with it. They're in their heads about it, for one. But I just don't know. I have no idea.
My former resident historian, he is now resides in heaven, Asmodor. He believed, and I don't know if he had evidence, that it was a psyop by feds, maybe, to push this to, because they know that there are some crazy right-wingers, because a lot of right-wingers are flat earthers,
Right.
to discredit the right-wingers.
Yeah.
There's people in my chat there's dumb blacks in my chat. I think they're blacks who are just looking down on my viewers and fans because they're flat earthers. But they're every bit as dumb.
Right.
They're dumber in some ways. And so it is discrediting to a blind person. Diddy says some valid things.
Mm-hmm.
You don't write some anyway. Yeah.
And I was going to say one time before that I had noticed the uptick in the flat Earth thing right after and around 9/11.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that.
I didn't notice it until 2014-ish.
Oh, okay.
I was producer, and I started looking on Instagram, and then one of my soccer friends became Christian, and he became flat Earth.
Okay.
Mexican.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American. Hip. Americanized.
Nice.
Used to be a party guy in Vegas. And he became like all nice Christian and flat earther. Crazy.
Yeah.
Did drugs.
Crazy. That's why he's a flat earther.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that it was like, it seemed to be like an infiltration type thing to shake people, the people that had the view of being called a conspiracy theorist. They're looking into different things. And then you question this and then you question that. Now you're questioning everything. And then something like flat earth comes along. And then
you're willing to swallow that too.
Yeah, you really go along with it, along with it.
Rather than know not to, if you don't know, don't believe anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never saw anything. Like, I really don't know. Right now, again, like I said, I have no idea. It just seems.
In terms of ball earth?
Yeah, it just seems a globe to me. Yeah.
Right. That's fair. I maybe I'm arrogant in saying it's an obvious globe. I definitely do puff up sometimes. I fall to that temptation into arguing with you guys. There were people arguing in my chat because I was doing these little premieres and talking about it over Christmas vacation, and I was egging them on, kind of. But it is interesting to me. I mean, I love looking at nature sometimes. It's just pretty.
Yeah.
Seeing a sunset and seeing the world and seeing the ocean, the vast ocean, and seeing that we can only see a tiny portion of it.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever seen? I've seen it. Someone brought it up, and I just noticed it on video. I've never seen it in real life. When the sun sets, it turns like there's a sharp green flicker.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know if it was a manipulated video or what. It seemed like if you just went out and recorded it.
You're supposed to look at sunsets, they say. Some people say.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. It seems like it might be bad for your eyes.
Right, you would think.
You get spots.
Yeah, but there was, like as soon as it set, there was, like right before it went down, or as soon as it went down, there was a green flicker. I don't know what caused it.
Recorded on video?
Yeah. It could have been just a video, but that was something that they noticed.
Huh. Well, I mean, it turns sort of reddish.
Mm-hmm. And it could be chemical related, like that purple, pinkish in the background, all the chemicals and things like that.
Yeah, right.
In the air. So that's probably, it could have been the nature of it.
Well, the complement of red is green. So like, so, I don't know if it has anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
But in art, art, you use pigment, and pigment is different from light colors. But for pigment, if you have a green ground, let's say, or a green object, the shadows on that object, you're going to put some red into it.
Okay.
Because that's the complement. Green and red makes the brown, I guess. but anyway, maybe that's why.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, beats me.
Yeah.
And I'm just really learning all the color spectrum type things from songs from my 4-year-old. I didn't even realize it with my oldest daughter.
Roy G. Biv.
Yeah, there was like songs that go with it. Yeah,
I didn't know the songs. I only know the colors by not art. I knew it from art a little bit, but from science, I guess. Chemistry, maybe, or chemistry or physics.
Physics. Yeah, one of the two.
Probably I had the same teacher for both back in high school. Roy G. Biv.
Didn't
red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Right. I actually was okay at science.
I was too, actually. Science and math were like the easiest, the simpler.
They're easy and kind of fun.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hang tight, callers. We got to get back to these topics, and I will get back to your calls. Hang tight. Let's do deregulation. Speaking of the government, right?
Yeah.
Deregulation now. Deregulation tomorrow. Bigg Bump channeling. This is a Bigg Bump line, by the way. Oh, what the heck? I don't know what just happened. You got? CJ said that's my drawing of what a typical flat earther looks like. It's his face. Funny. All right. So deregulation forever. Channeling, what was the guy's name?
George Wallace.
Yeah, George Wallace, who said segregation now.
Right, yeah.
What's your opinion on George Wallace briefly while we pull this up? Or do you have one?
I don't really have an opinion about it, but the segregation thing, I agree with. That probably should have been the case, or not even pushing it. Just, I mean, if you were segregated, you were segregated. If you happen to desegregate, then, so be it. That's the only thing, other than seeming to be a straight shooter.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really don't have anything for him. I mean, there's a lot of hate for him, but again, the segregation thing, I agree with. It's going on, people want that now.
Right.
People want to be, blacks want to be left alone, got it. Be left alone. Whites want to be left alone, got it. Be left alone. Whoever. It's the Mexicans, Hispanics, whatever, they want to be left alone. That's just, it's almost natural that's the case. You stick to your own.
Right.
And
then you if you do mix, some people are more open to mixing than others. By mixing, I'm just saying
mingling.
Like socialize,
right.
or do business with, or whatever.
Right.
You do it naturally under freedom.
Yeah.
And you can argue the wisdom of that or not, but freedom is better.
Yeah, right.
And local control is better than state or government or federal or international control.
Right, definitely.
Mama spirit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because neighborhoods may do something that you don't agree with, or, I'm a taxpayer, people say. I'm a taxpayer, why should I be forced to stay out of this area, not live in this area, or whatever. Maybe we should reduce some of those taxes. And also, like, why would you want to impose on other people?
Right, yeah, definitely. If someone doesn't want you around, why would you want to be around them? Or any, opposing
That's
view.
That's just anger. That's pride.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be in here.
Stubbornness.
Inclusion, equity type, the DEI.
Yeah,
issue,
exactly.
That'll just work out in the free market. That's natural. That's
right.
If it happens, that's what's supposed to happen.
They're including all diverse manner of evil.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
All the little subsets of the evil.
And Satan told Eve she could be equal with God.
Right.
I think through knowledge of good and evil.
Right. That's what it boiled down to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how that only makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, for one, leave people alone. Stay out of my business.
Right.
I'll stay out of your business.
And that's what the gays pretended they wanted. We just want to be left alone. But they wanted more than that.
Exactly. That's it. That goes back to the snaky thing.
Yep.
You know, yeah, we'll tell you, I'm going to tell you this, but I have something that I'm going to hit you across the head with later on. And you're going to fall for it, or we're going to make you fall for it, or we're going to just run over and not even care what you have to say. You know, we're going to push every little bit of what we have on you. Yeah.
So deregulation.
Yeah.
Let's get into this.
Right. This is from Brownstone Institute. I had another topic that was from this think tank.
Brownstone Institute.
Yeah.
We had used them before for a source?
Yeah.
In a past show?
In a past show. I don't recall what it was. It was a couple shows ago. But this gentleman, Peter St. Ong, he's with the Mises Institute. So
Ong, O-N-G-E.
O-N-G-E.
N as in Nancy. O-N-G-E.
Yeah.
Peter St. Ong.
And it's titled...
From which institute, you said?
Mises.
Okay.
Yeah, von Mises Institute. Every bureaucrat destroys 138 jobs. That caught my eye, and I was like, whoa,
that's
what
crazy.
is this about? Yeah. And it was a study done at Auburn University, that's in Alabama. And I guess it was 7 years ago, 2017, through the Phoenix Center. And I'm familiar, I thought Phoenix Center was part of Auburn University. But it says that every single regulator destroys 138 private sector jobs every year you keep him on the job.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
On average, like they average it out to being that.
Yes. And it also says further down, in fact, you could fire him, keep paying him for life, and still put 100 families in the middle class. Because their salary, they're basing it off 100,000 a year salary.
Whoa.
Yeah, so like I said, it caught my eye.
That's interesting.
138 jobs for one job, and it's and their federal regulators is specifically, and it says with nearly 300,000 federal regulators, the shock is that we still have any jobs at all, because they tend to come in and push that bureaucracy on, that big government at all costs, from pushing out small businesses, enforcing, it says in here, enforcing the Chinese virus type.
Oh, yeah. Ridiculous regulations.
Right.
In many cases. These are not just reasonable regulations.
Right.
There's a lot of reasonable regulations, I suppose. People call me all the time. Wouldn't you want?
Right.
Right. You don't want clean food or whatever like that, and you don't want safe things. Sometimes the regulation is not the government's job to do it.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
And in some cases, the regulators are probably infiltrated by the commies, just like the universities.
Yeah. I would definitely imagine that. I'm
looking at this total pages published.
That's crazy. Huh?
In the Code of Federal Regulations, 1950 to 2019. And it starts from in 1950, it was maybe 10 pages. And this is probably every year, right?
Yeah.
Or is it total?
That should be total, because you can't.
Total pages,
you can't get rid of.
Okay.
You don't get rid of any of them until
Trump had them get rid of some.
Yeah, with
right around there.
Yeah, if you bring in one, you have to get rid of two or something like that.
Yeah. For every new regulation, 2 old regulations have to be eliminated.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's that's one of the dips. This is another one of the dips. Was this Reagan time?
What year was that?
I can't really see 1990s. Oh, maybe. Would that have been George? No, that would have been Clinton.
What
Maybe
year?
Clinton. 96, 90.
Oh yeah, that was Clinton. 96.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, he had to work with the Republicans, so he might have deregulated, and that might have been why his economy supposedly did better. I don't know.
They keep saying the surplus type thing, surplus this, surplus that. But it looks stagnant. It does look stagnant.
A diner forced to spend $30,000 on a low-energy exhaust fan.
Right.
Mom and pops chased into bankruptcy, collateral damage to these new regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times big businesses, the big corporations that are in bed with the government, can afford to accommodate some of these dumb regulations.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that a lot of them are dumb.
Yeah.
I've heard. And these seem like honest people, too, who complain about regulations. And then the smaller businesses, some of them have less restrictions on them because they are smaller. The government says, "Oh, you don't have to do it until you're this size."
Right. Yeah.
But it's all stupid. It's like it's basically means tested hurdles, and it's insane.
Yeah, because I'm still like I said the last time, because they brought it up last show, that the raw milk, the company there still haven't been any raw milk available.
Wow.
It's supposed to start, I guess, Monday. They're supposed to ship, but they've been under attack. And
is it because of the bird flu?
Allegedly.
Hitting the cows, supposedly?
But they never had any issue.
No cases of them.
No cases at all.
Yeah.
And so it's been tough, man. It's been crazy. My daughter, she's so specific with that milk, and she knows what raw milk is. She knows the taste and everything. But I try to get something comparable. But still, the point is that the regulations, the regulators, the state, whatever at whatever level, like you were saying, it's just too strict, too mommy, to totalitarianism, to whatever. It's just over the top, too regulated, and it hurts.
Yeah,
It puts you in a position that you don't necessarily want to be in. So, and you have to figure other things out, or, let things work out. But just figure, see how you deal with it. But
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. So yeah. Also, to my point of
$1 in taxes destroys $3 in GDP.
Oh, there you go.
Says this one guy.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to get to?
Eventually, I did have that in my notes part, and then each dollar to the regulator destroys the 112 to the GDP.
Man, each dollar in regulator salary destroys $112 in output. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, and that's like the other situation with the California. I don't remember what it was. 97% of new jobs were the state employees.
Yeah, we covered that maybe last time or two times ago.
2 times ago. Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's just this time it's federal regulators that are making a nice dollar, nice salary, and putting America, under the table. I was looking down under the table and not allowing that, again, the free market.
Putting their knees on our necks.
Yeah, George Floydness.
Yeah, we can't breathe. You know what, I remember Trump said at one of his rallies, and I believe him because he's a truth teller, that these business owners will often tell him that cutting regulations is more important than cutting taxes.
Yeah.
And taxes are pretty bad. A lot of people complain about taxes. The people who make money and create value in the world.
Yeah, you're being handcuffed with these regulations.
Yeah.
You probably can work with the taxes. You know, you can do the tax code. You get your lawyers to read it and work around it.
Right.
You know, and then you can pay for it. But these regulations, you're not going to get around the regulation if they say, you know, like the fan for a mom and pop, a $30,000 exhaust fan is going to. It's possible it can break you.
Right. True.
But you go to Walmart or whoever, and a $30,000 exhaust fan, that's, you know, you can write that off somehow.
That's insane.
You know? So, or any bigger or mid-sized company can just be like, okay, we'll do it. We'll figure it out, or we'll whatever, make a sale, have a sale, and bring more people in, and it'll pay for itself. But the regulation still will hurt. It hurts, and I can see where these bigger companies would be like, hey, this regulation is killing us. It's not beneficial for us. We can deal with the taxes, but you know, these wearing certain item of clothing or not having something in the building at a time is not going to help us. No.
Helicopter parent mama spirit. In some cases.
The nanny state all the time, on the go, all the time. And then further down, oh, you're right there. The top 3 regulatory offenders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it has the EPA.
That caught my eye.
Yeah.
The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Mm-hmm. Wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yeah. And then the government, they do worse with the environment themselves.
Right. The EPA, I remember, turned some river orange.
In Colorado somewhere. Yeah, turned the whole river orange.
Was that the Rio Grande? I forget.
It could have been. Or the Colorado River, maybe. Yeah. But I knew it was from Colorado, but one of the two. It may turn into Rio Grande or something like that. But
I remember some people prevented forest fires so much that the forest fires went bigger and out of control. And then they realized, oh, we got to do controlled burning.
Yeah.
None of us know what we're doing.
Right. Yeah.
And then the people who are closer to it are the ones who should kind of be trusted.
Yeah, right.
Within reason, of course, because, you know, you're close to something and you get sloppy and I don't know, what a mess.
Yeah. And then they have, second is security mandates. Markets.
That's part of what destroyed the economy, right? Put us into a recession.
That's what would have been, yeah.
Because they were backing up, I think, right? They were backing up home loans and stuff.
Well, that would be part of it. Yeah, definitely. That would be part of it.
From people who you never should have been trusted with a loan.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And then, it's the forcing of it. The giving, we're going to allow and make it a point to give these dollars out, or would be that, you know, just the manipulation of the whole market itself. You know, we're going to make this happen, and this is going to be the regulation for it. Now, you're killing everybody else that could do and would do the right thing.
That's interesting.
Within the market, the free market. If you just leave it alone.
Right. Wow. That's interesting. It says they've all but closed public markets to startups and sheltered banks and insurers from competition. What a scam.
Yeah, they
wow, there were all kinds of new banks being made, and then there's like nothing.
Right.
Very little. It just killed it.
Yeah.
Wow. The Institute for Local Self-Reliance. That's what they want, is you to be reliant on the federal government, so that they can say, oh, we're not going to fund you. And Trump is using that for the good.
Yeah, right.
He's using it for the good, but they use it for evil.
Yeah. Clearly you can see what destroys and what builds. Who can build and who can destroy, or, you know, who will make a change, a real difference, and get off your back and leave you alone.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah.
And then the third of the top 3 offenders in terms of economy, business killing regulators.
Yeah.
Labor regulations. Oh, meaning like the people who are babying all the unions, the communist unions.
Oh, yeah.
FLRA and LRB, National Labor Relations Board, and alphabet soup, including Obamacare mandates and occupational licensing.
Yeah.
That's brutal for small businesses that might take a gamble on marginal workers but are locked in. It raises the cost of hiring to the point that companies downsize or move to China to survive. That's what I was trying to tell people is that, oh, Trump makes ties in China. A lot of businesses are forced by the government, you know, effectively. They make it not business friendly. And so they make it more profitable to do stuff, business overseas.
Right, yeah. And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, do you want your company to fold or, you know, move somewhere where it's not American, but, you know, you want your company, nobody else is going to help you out.
Right.
You know, go where you want, where you're wanted at least. Yeah, and not restricted.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
Share of U.S. firms' labor costs associated with regulatory compliance. Wow, it just keeps on climbing.
Yeah. There's no way.
The start.
I was going to say, no, there's no way it's going to change until, like I said, when your caller says what policy or whatever that Trump has, I say deregulations, you know, that once you make a stand on that, that changes everything. It literally changes everything because you get in you're saying, hey, we want the government off our backs, these bureaucrats off our back. We want these regulations that are hurting our economy. It's not bringing any help. You know, it's just the mommy, the nanny state, the big brother, just constantly telling you what you need to do, which can be total opposite of what normally happens.
Yeah.
You know, just again, I'll go to the example of the raw milk that they don't have a clue. The government doesn't know I'll say they don't know what it takes to do that process. And what comes along with the whole pasture, the farm itself, just the farm of these are just bureaucrats that just they read something from somewhere, they get whatever they get from their agency, and they go off that, and they can go into the place, which they have done over the almost 20 years that we've been consuming the raw milk, that they just go in and say, hey, some person can get sick and that we're just going to put it on whatever their sickness is, we're going to blame it. We're going to trace it back to raw milk. That's all they have to do. And that's what they do. They trace it back. And it's been...
And it's not even necessarily true.
It's not true.
Wow. I
remember one time a little kid got sick, maybe about 4 years old at the time. And it came, they took it off the shelf that time, but the child was eating spinach that had E. coli on it. And, you know, stuff like that.
You got to watch out for that. Those veggies sometimes. Yeah. And that's scary because, you know, these spinach is supposedly triple washed.
Right, yeah, allegedly.
And so you think you can trust it, but you can get sick from it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And people sometimes die from E. coli, don't they?
Right, yeah.
If they're particularly vulnerable.
Right, weaker, yeah. Yeah, so they'll trace it back to I've seen it happen multiple times, but it's something totally different. But
wow. They'll blame it on the raw milk.
So the bureaucrats, they don't know really what they're saying. They have that agenda.
Yeah.
They push that narrative and to get the smaller company.
I could believe that because they say the same thing about racism, and it's a lot of it's the claims that they make about the the climate
Mm-hmm.
and what would solve it are doubtful, questionable.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, they're dishonest people.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
They're
yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah. They're in the right positions.
And
to be
they stay
dishonest.
paid anyway.
Right. Yeah. They're not going to lose their job.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. And clearly get rid of 138 jobs that they're up.
Each person.
With each person, yeah, 138.
That's I guess over the course of their career?
No, that's per year.
Every year?
Every year.
Dang. Is that wow?
Every year. Let me go back. Every year. Yeah. Every single regulator destroys fully 138 private sector jobs every year. You keep him on the job.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of jobs over the course of like a 20-year or 30-year, however long you so-called work.
Right. And that's, I think that adds up to...
Every year you keep them on the job.
That's what caught me. And when I read that, I was
300,000 federal regulators. That's insane.
So it's nearly $15 million.
I want to see if I can pull this up and see if this has what I wanted. I saw this stuck with me. This was Eric Prince, the founder of Blackwater, which was an enemy of Obama. He was talking about, under the Obama administration, regulations. This might be it.
They've made it into many, many miles of regulations to where you had an inch of law. So now you can have bureaucrats writing policy that had the force of law, meaning felonies. And so the administrative state had an inch, and they've made it into many, many miles of regulations to where you're, like under the Obama administration, there was about 80,000 pages of new regulations coming out every year, not passed into law by Congress, but written by bureaucrats in all the different federal agencies as to food, air quality, you name it, across the spectrum of your life, all those regulations had the force of law. And that's what has to be curtailed. The Supreme Court.
Crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And there's something that I always keep coming across when I read about regulations is a thing called Chevron deference. And it happened like in the 70s where it was some ruling where they can, when they deal with the regulations, instead of, it's not the Supreme Court or Congress that will be the merit, the basis for it. They go to the agency and they determine which regulation, why this regulation is the way it is, and why it should be upheld in the court.
Wow.
When it gets there, yeah. So that when he was saying about the, what did he say? I guess like the jackboot portion of it, like they allow it to keep going because of that specific ruling.
What? Oh, that's what he was starting to say.
Kind of. It
probably.
Seemed like he was starting to get there. Yeah, and so yeah, that's when you let these agencies and they'll just rule. They'll just say, hey, we're the experts in it. We know what we're talking about, and so that regulation just keeps going. It just keeps going.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was Eric Prince, formerly of Blackwater. Blackwater got shut down by Obama, I guess. And brother of Betsy DeVos, Trump's former education secretary.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm more familiar with him. He's a solid guy.
Yeah, he is.
That was on the Sean Ryan show the other year. And I never forgot that little thing about 80,000 pages of regulations every, did he say year or something like that? But Obama administration. Crazy.
Yeah. But that sounds right, though. That sounds exactly right.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. That's still, it's not America. It's not like freedom. they can do all this, and then again they can change. You won't even be America. There won't be a constitution. It's just a filler, a whole bunch of just mess on the side.
Like he said, unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not law.
No, exactly. That's my point.
But it has the force of law. Felonies.
Yeah.
Over something that some egghead in the government.
Yeah. Right.
Who thinks they know so much. Not having to deal with the reality of the situation.
Right.
Some of them are more reasonable than others, I'm sure. But just impose this on the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a mess.
And then it gets to a specific person. Now it's Donald Trump being attacked because something's been weaponized. The courts have been weaponized. The judges have been weaponized. The DAs. All that. And then it just trickles down to your everyday Joe, average Joe, January 6th. Just you and I on here say the wrong thing that someone doesn't like, and So these regulations are out of control.
Any excuse that they can get to impose and shut down.
Right.
It's crazy. They're enemies. And the Obama administration went after their enemies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In America.
Yes.
Meaning the friends of America, people who wanted America to stay America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yes, for sure.
This is sort of related to the Department of Government Efficiency.
Oh, right.
Vivek. Before I get back to the calls, I will get to you calls, but I want to get your take on Vivek. Vivek had that little statement.
Do you have it by chance?
Yeah, I can pull this up. And I can probably, this is probably charged. I had to plug in my, so I was like, it's awkward. Anyway. So Vivek Ramaswamy posted this on X. And I'll pull it up so that we can kind of read it. Vivek Ramaswamy posted this last week. The reason top tech companies hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native, meaning white, whatever, Americans, is because of culture. So we have venerated mediocrity over excellence, at least since the 90s. And you heard me relating to that because mediocrity was big, especially because I grew up with bad kids, starting in 7th grade at least. Celebrating the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ. Come on, math Olympiad. The jock over the valedictorian. I don't think that, I mean, there's two, it's like apples and oranges. I mean, you want to have both anyway. And referencing all these TV shows that I didn't really fully understand these references, but the nerds.
Yeah, you did say that.
He knew a bunch of immigrant parents who were, meaning Indian or Chinese or Asian, especially, who were serious about TV and serious about academics and not letting their kids watch so much TV, especially because it promoted mediocrity. So I don't know what whiplash is, but fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chillin', more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. So he wants the parents who drive their children to not be lazy and into entertainment, but into being productive. And I can relate to that. I like it. I relate to the fact that there's a lot, and Jesse has complained about this. The millennials are not about excellence, he says. And there's some truth to that. I think in general, like, you get spoiled and you're like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
When you don't have that hunger, you're not faced with losing your house or not being able to pay rent.
Right.
You don't have to be a go-getter.
Give it some go. Yeah. Give it anything.
And in general, just like not hanging out at the bar or not hanging out hanging out or video games, stuff like that. Like, anyway. So anyway, he said all that, and he wants us to return to not being victimhood, and some of it is victimhood. Right. A lot of people across the board, Trump supporters, boomers who are complaining about the media, the Jew blamers, everybody are not just the blacks or the women or the gays are falling into the victimhood thing. Right. So anyway, is there anything other point that you wanted me to highlight that you wanted to respond to?
Not specifically. Okay. It was just how people were.
And the context of this is the H-1B visas, and I separate this point from the H-1B visa thing because I'm not for the H-1B visas.
Yeah, me either. Yeah. Right.
Which is letting foreign people come in and do jobs, and there's a whole scam, as with all government programs.
Yes.
Scams involved.
Yeah. It's all advantage. Again, that's a slippery slope type issue, but I'm not for it. I may have been before. It could have been like something that would have been like, oh yeah, that's cool. I understand, but no, it'll work out.
You're talking about H-1B?
Yeah, things like that will work out on its own.
Yeah,
you don't even need to. It's almost to a point where. No, we don't even need them. I get it, free market issue that you can bring them in.
Yeah.
But they're not the end all be all to America. They're not necessarily gonna. Not one person is gonna destroy, America in itself, but that idea will. If you continue to let people in, it's just gonna change the dynamic of America.
Yeah.
And they not all have America first mentality. They don't.
That's
they
right.
Still are.
Of course.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Bunch of dumb liberals.
Right.
They're talented at some things, and I respect that.
Right.
Appreciate it sometimes. But they're dumb liberals.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because immigrants come here, and then their children, they may be okay, the immigrants themselves, the parents, humble and whatever. And I mentioned this yesterday. The children get raised to be anti-American because our education, our social media, our mainstream media, their friends, the other diverse people, bunch of evil anti-American people.
Yes. Yeah, they are. So now it almost can be done away with, the H-1B1, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, that
Daniel was calling it H1N1, like the
virus,
swine flu.
Yeah. Shout out to Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just my point was, I had wrote something. I was like, I understand he's right. There are things that everyone across the board just lace up your bootstraps. Don't be the victim.
Yeah.
Do you work on yourself and do things that you need to do. So he's right in that sense. But at the same time, while you were reading this, I was like, you know what? This is the same thing when you say, when people see something, they jump on it. And that's what I also took from it, that he sees, things, how things are, and that now I could point the finger at everyone. And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like what he sounds. Oh, I put that he sounds like a female. That he sounds like a female that gets some understanding, and of how a man should be.
Yeah.
They I got it. And now they're all, oh, you didn't do this, so you're not a man or something. In that sense that's how I saw it.
He starts just preaching.
Yeah, there
doesn't even really necessarily know who he's talking about.
Right. Yeah, that's
he
how
may have some ideas of examples in mind.
Right, that are correct. That are fine. Yeah, that's why I say the victimhood thing. Got you. Yeah, blacks, whites, browns, yellows, reds. Yeah, don't be the victim at all. But now you're sounding like you're pointing the finger in judgment.
Right.
You know, not in that as
and really in ignorance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because there are excellent whites and excellent Americans, whether they're white or not,
right.
just native-born Americans.
Right.
And they're getting discriminated against from a young age, from getting into school in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, because of affirmative action and these different things.
That's the first thing came to mind. Yeah.
They are not smiled upon. Kind of like what Diddy was saying. There's like a discrimination against the flat earthers. They don't have the funding, but it's not about funding. It's about you're not allowed to have you're not welcome to speak your mind even.
Right.
In a lot of these liberal tech cultures.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're just dominated by the squeaky wheels and the weak people and the weak but talented people. Like, let's say Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
He is talented, pushes, so he's strong in that sense, but he's weak and pushed around by the people who are the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
Spotify, same thing. A lot of these book publishers, the same thing.
You see, Jack Dorsey was like that.
Yeah.
You know, they won't. They know their true voice, what they really want to say. It's not going to work out. You know.
Right. Yeah, and these guys would be more reasonable, but they're just not strong enough to stand up to.
Yeah.
And the mainstream media is part of that evil squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
That evil mama spirit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I took from it.
Yeah, and it's true because Cernovich talks about how he's the one that pointed out that they're, Trump supporters and independent thinkers in general are discriminated against. I talked about the military recruitment's down.
Right. Yeah.
The LAPD rejected Joel, and Joel's tall, fit, reasonable, not quick to anger, pretty clear-headed.
Yeah.
But he has some unique ideas, or he thinks differently.
Yeah.
And so he got passed over.
Yeah. You know what? I told my daughter this before, like when she first got into school. I told her that maybe I shouldn't have told her at the time. This was, years ago, decade ago or so, that you're never going to be like the valedictorian, any of those. They're not going to get awards or anything because of growing up, how she grew up. The ideas or the things that I would tell her, certain things like that. You're never going to be liked. No one's going to like you because you have a separate mindset as everyone else. And it was pretty much true, but she was so likable. People just liked her that she did. There were things here and there. She wasn't president of her class in 6th grade or middle school or whatever, but she was vice president, I think, and then in elementary she did something else, a talent show. But that's like, people when it's your peers, but the teachers and things like that, they're not going to, when you question them, they're not going to respond with nicey nices.
Right.
So
because their pride is pricked.
Yeah. So it's almost the same, but that was just something that just popped up because I spoke to her when I was coming in. She called me, that's just something that was related to that. That just reminded me.
Unique people or people who are the light are often hated by the crowd.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Yeah, Vivek, you might be right. What's up, Terry? In the Facebook crew. Nice. You know what, guys? I'm not going to be able to get to your super chats after all. I have only less than 10. Well, I have 10 minutes. And I have to get to the calls. So, yeah, it's fair. Your statement about Vivek Ramaswamy. I do not really see him as a totally genuine guy necessarily. I'm just, but I appreciate him for what he is.
Yeah. He's cool with me. I don't have anything really against him.
Yeah.
He seems okay.
Yep, that's my opinion too.
Yeah.
And Elon, like I disagree about this thing, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I still think of them as pro-America.
Right.
They just have a difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bashing each other for it.
Right. Yeah.
Let's get to Patrick in Colorado on the line over here. Patrick, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up? Are you there?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
Happy New Year.
Doing fine.
Happy New Year to you too.
I think my reason for calling is a little worn out. Called about an hour ago to weigh in on the flat Earth topic.
Well, go for it, real quick.
You asked a pretty good question. Why can't you see Polaris south of the equator?
Yeah.
You actually can.
You can?
Yeah, I think as far as the 25th parallel. So 25 degrees south, they see it.
Nice. But further south, you can't.
Yeah, you get to a point where it's too far away to spot. But you can see it where the Earth should be blocking it, which is very weird.
Oh. And is that because of diffraction or refraction or anything, or what?
I think it's because the laws of perspective, you can only see so far away. If you picture yourself looking down a hallway, like
it gets
hotel
fainter and
hallway,
fainter. Yeah.
Everything kind of shrinks to your eye level. And so eventually,
it's just
you
so
pick
tiny.
Your street lights, they're all in a straight line. They're all at the same height. But eventually, they get lower and lower to your eye level, and then you can't see them anymore.
So you're saying that Polaris is visible, is it down close to the horizon, down at the 20th parallel, if that's what you're saying?
It lowers in the sky.
Yeah.
If you the further north you go, the higher it gets in the sky. The further south you go, the lower it gets.
Right.
But once you pass the equator, it shouldn't be visible, and it is.
Is that visible at certain times of the year because of the tilt of the Earth or anything like that?
I'm not actually sure, but regardless,
that's my question.
It shouldn't really be visible because the tilt of the Earth allegedly points towards Polaris.
Right, because
so
the tilt of the Earth points
at the North Pole.
Right, that's because it's the North Star. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, so it shouldn't matter what time of year it is. Another question you asked that I thought was pretty good was, can anybody that believes in the flat Earth model predict what we see in the sky accurately?
Right.
And the answer to that is yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, the Aztecs, I think they predicted every eclipse till like 3 million years in the future.
And were they were they Aztecs flat earthers or ball-tards?
Oh, they were flat earthers.
Really?
Every civilization that predates us knew the Earth was flat. It wasn't until NASA came around.
Where are you getting this?
Just look it up. Look at the Egyptians, the Norse, the Romans, the Aztecs, the Mayans. They all drew. You can find what their model of Earth is, and they're all the exact same.
They're flat? They were flat earthers, or were they ball earthers?
They have variations, but yeah, flat isn't really the term. They believed we were in an enclosed ecosystem, like a snow globe, if you will. Obviously, it's not flat. I'm looking at the Rockies right now.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Flat isn't really it's kind of a way of making us look dumb, calling us flat earthers. It's really, we're just enclosed geocentrists. It's a more accurate way of phrasing it.
But it's not a ball, meaning you're not for being a ball, because I'm a ball-tard. Is ball-tard meant to make me sound dumb?
Yeah, I suppose it is. I don't think you're dumb. I was a ball-tard all my life.
Nice.
So it's understandable.
Are you Gen X?
Bump was asking. No.
Boomer?
I'm 36.
Oh, millennial based.
Yeah. But Bump asked a question as well about the seasons.
Yeah.
So basically on the model, the Earth has the sun moving above it, and in the summer it's circling closer to the North Pole, and it slowly migrates outward and then slowly migrates inward, which is why the seasons occur. There's reasons on both models.
Okay.
It's an interesting topic, and I don't know.
And he my prior caller, Jason, DITTY, used the term North Pole. But is there a North Pole? There's no South Pole. Is the North Pole just the center of the Earth, the extreme center of the Earth?
That's the way the model works. And then
the South Pole is really the South Circle. Because I'm looking down.
Yeah, long story short, and frankly,
this is the South.
I have no idea how any of it works. I'm fine with admitting that.
Yeah.
But there are very strange questions. Like, for example, it's impossible for an atmosphere to exist inside of a vacuum. We know this. It's demonstrated constantly. Anytime you have an atmosphere and you expose it to a vacuum, the vacuum swallows the atmosphere.
It just gets spread out into the vacuum.
Yeah, it equalizes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And if it's a vacuum,
and it just becomes a thin atmosphere,
it's going to swallow it. And they make up this word gravity that is somehow supposed to answer all their magical questions. And nobody can demonstrate gravity. It's basically a magnetic force based on mass. Nobody can test, or it's still known as the theory of gravity because it was made up. It's just a theory. And I actually took astronomy. That was my favorite class.
Is gravity a push or a pull?
I think, I don't actually know, but it's supposed to pull.
I heard that it's actually
a
push.
That's a trick question. It's actually not real, so they can call it whatever they want, push or pull. It's not demonstrable in any way. All we know is things fall down. Why? No idea.
Nice.
To the regulation thing you guys were talking about.
Okay.
I have a very simple solution.
Oh, man, I got to end. Okay, real quick, go ahead.
Get rid of all of them.
That's a nice one. I'm with you.
I know, but then they're gonna do all this propaganda because they're gonna claim that this is because of.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard Ronnie from Ohio blamed Trump deregulation for the China virus. I think, if I remember right. And so that my statement is that the media is the liberals are gonna blame different catastrophes on deregulation.
That's fine. They'll do whatever they do.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Reality will.
We do what we do.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, they're gonna cry. Just let them.
Right. I'm with you, man.
If there's not a single regulation that accomplishes the goal it's presented to accomplish. Nothing they do ever actually achieves the goal. All it does is achieve the real goal, which is kneecapping us and helping them.
Yeah. Deregulate.
Even sensible ones like with regards to our water or food. Our water has fluoride in it. Our food is crap. They don't have any good regulations that actually help either of those things.
Interesting, man.
But they all accomplish the same goal. That's kneecapping us, kneecapping businesses, and stopping the free market from achieving what it's destined to achieve, which is greatness.
I agree.
Through competition.
Well, I appreciate it, Patrick in Colorado. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thanks for taking my call. I didn't think you guys were gonna.
Yeah, I'm glad you hung in there. I'm glad you got through.
I did. And I'll give you a call back.
That sounds good. Appreciate it.
We'll chat. I've been a long-time follower of Jesse and you guys.
Nice.
I think I first found him on, what was that movie he made? Uncle Tom.
Oh, right on.
Larry Elder.
Sweet.
That's how I discovered him. So I think 2018-ish is around how long I've been listening.
Fair.
Nice.
But, yeah, thanks for taking my call, guys. I hope you have a good evening. Sorry for eating up so much of your time.
You're fine, man. Take care, Patrick.
Take care.
Bye. And real fast, I know this is so bad. William in California. William, how are you doing, man? We only have a couple minutes here. Go for it.
Yeah, no. What's your problem, man? You're sitting there talking about this stuff. I'm looking at your face. You look fascinated. You talk about nothing.
I know, it's terrible. I stayed way too long with him, Diddy. Shout out to him, Diddy.
Didn't I tell you, or did I ask you, what are these oceans? Puddles?
Yeah, exactly. They're oceans.
So if your living room is facing the Pacific Ocean, what does the sun do?
The sun dips down below the ocean.
Sunset.
Yeah, the sun sets.
So in the back of the house in the morning, what's that going to be?
The sunrise.
Damn, James. I'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Hey, Bigg Bump. Happy New Year.
Hey, what's up, William? Happy New Year, man.
Jesus. James, if you don't want to come to work, just have somebody come in for you.
No, I'm working on it. I'm going to turn over a new leaf, William. Just watch.
You get so lost with this stuff, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. I know.
That's the Hake report.
I guess
it is.
They love hearing themselves with all these analogies and stuff. So I guess I got to throw all my telescopes away, huh?
That's true.
Well, funny. Happy New Year. I sent you a little story about Fonnie Willis's mother.
Okay.
There's a possibility that she's on the run out there in Cuba from some Panther stuff in the 60s. So we can talk about that another time.
That sounds good. Appreciate you, William.
And New Orleans is just a real fast. New Orleans is a very poorly ran town. Mm-hmm. And it always has been, so it's nothing new.
Yep. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
You too.
Happy New Year.
All right, you too, Bigg Bump.
Bye. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. Follow Bigg Bump. Tell him your ats.
X or Twitter, BIGG_BUMP. Instagram, BIGG_BUMP. YouTube is BIGG-BUMP. Truth Social, BIGG_BUMP. If you want to find me, just put in BIGG-BUMP and you'll catch me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. This has been fun. See you on Monday and Sunday. Adriana.
Shout out, Adriana.
If you can't see what's wrong, then you won't understand this song. The world is upside down and we're living like clowns, waiting for the end to come. I could have done it better yesterday, and now I'm gonna have to pay. I'm living in sin, I'm looking within. Hell is in the place I'm in. God is always on your side if you let go of your ego and your pride. The moment is here and all will be clear. Be present and be guided by the light. Silence brings clarity.
So nice.
Revelation is what you'll see. The truth is in you. You'll know what to do. Stand up and love what's right. Yeah.
The Fallen State coming up next, guys. Take care.